10 things that are shockingly cheaper in Australia.
You can always spot a British foreigner in Australia for the first time, and no, it's not the accent, it's not our inability to handle the sun, it's the look of absolute bewilderment on our faces when we fill up the car for the first time, pay a utility bill, or even get on a bus in Brisbane. I know that look because I had that look. And so the longer I've lived here, I've realised there are a whole heap of things that are way cheaper than they would be in the UK.
Well,
so consider this.
Well, how much cheaper is fuel then? Well, I guess you're going to tell me.
And let's get into number one.
Is that like drastic?
Standing for Ministry of Transport, is an annual safety check you have to get done on your car in order for your car to be legally roadworthy. And it's something that you have to do in the UK, whether you like it or not. As a uni student, I hated it because I was broke, so I really didn't want to pay for it. But I was very surprised to hear that in Australia, this isn't really a thing. But in Queensland specifically, you do have to get a safety check done on your car if you're going to sell it to someone else. But then once you've got it, you don't have to get a mandatory roadworthy check.
I don't think that's a good thing. I feel like having to get it checked is a good thing for the safety of everybody else, no? Like, make sure your car's, like, your brakes are not just gonna, like, mess up randomly, or, you know, it's not, you try and brake, it just crashes into someone, or you're gonna break down, like, going high speed. I feel like that's a good thing to check it at least once a year, right? We don't have that at all in Colorado, just emissions dependent on the age of the vehicle. Wait, really? I don't know. He's saying it like this is a good thing. I mean, sure, it saves you money, but there's a lot wrong with the UK, and I don't necessarily think MOTs would be one of them. I think that's good safety, no?
On it each year. Now, the maximum fee for a car MOT in the UK is £54.85, which is this much in Australian. So it might not sound much, but you know, cost of living crisis with all of your other living expenses, rent, mortgage payments, utility bills.
Yeah, but I'm gonna stop there. Like 54 in a year, right? If you accumulated how much people spend on pints in the UK on minimum wage, that just don't go out one night and you have your MOT. That's not a drastic thing. So Victoria and Queensland. By the way, YouTube, if you're watching this, we actually have someone from Australia now. So if you want to come by, very much appreciate it. To get more insight whilst we're watching the videos. That's for Victoria and Queensland. New South Wales is different. You need a safety check when renewing your Rego per 6 or 12 months. Right. Okay, so you do have to do like an MOT equivalent then. It's just Victoria and Queensland don't. Yeah, I feel like a check is healthy.
Petrol, you know, it all adds up. It feels like I'm getting away with something. It feels like I'm you know, winning a very, very small portion of the lottery each year. Do you know what's also super cheap in Australia and actually the rest of the world? It's hitting that little like button there. Number 2, utility bills, gas, water, electric, not broadband. We'll get to that. Now, this is going to cause a bit of controversy in the comments because some people will tell me, no, gas and electric and water's through the roof in Australia. Let me tell you, not having to pay for council tax when you rent in Queensland is a huge thing. We were renting a much smaller apartment in London in the UK with black mold, might I add.
That's London. London is the biggest ripoff. I think anybody that has any sanity and you don't have to work in London, run away, far from it. It's so expensive and everybody's rude.
Paying £1,300 a year in council tax. Okay, that's the equivalent of rates in Australia. When you rent, you don't pay that. So we're already saving about $2,600 a year alone. Thank you. Now, I will say, when we lived in Ealing in London, our gas bill was...
Papa, you say oi. But your dad also ran away from London. As much as he might wear the accent as a badge of honor, he ran away from London. He's no longer there. Just saying.
Through the roof. We were very poor, struggling actors. And so we would set, my wife and I, an hour block each day
They're missing
that we
you
would
all.
have
There you go.
our radiators on. And tell me why we were still paying like £100 to £120 a month in gas. Absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, now the plot twist here is broadband is weirdly more expensive. We pay about $95 a month for 500 megabytes per second of internet speed, £22 more than we were paying in London.
Not great.
It's all right. Okay, thanks to Wise for sponsoring this video. So this one's a sneaky one because it's not always cheaper just because you moved here. I'm talking about sending money internationally internationally, which if you're a foreigner like me, you will be doing a lot of. Because here's the thing, when I first moved to Australia, I was sending money back to the UK through my bank. There'd be a $0 fee on screen, which looked totally fine. But what the bank doesn't tell you is that they quietly give you a worse exchange rate than the real one, and then they skim the difference before you ever see it. Whereas Wise uses the actual mid-market.
I'm getting an ad. You got me.
Prepare me for online marketplaces. Australians, and this is statistically true, have more disposable income than Brit.
You're 5,200 better off per year with superior retirement savings, lower tax rates, and better superannuation, making a difference long term. Wait, so it's 50K salary. I mean, 50K salary, I mean, this is, it's not near our average either, really. But does that assume... Wait, 50K salary? Because that's including a tax jump, no? So anything, was it? Somewhere in the 40s, you go up to a higher percentage, no? Can't remember. I don't know. That might be a slightly missed. That it does. It says about 23.4%. I don't know.
And so when people do sell stuff on, online marketplaces here, I notice they go for way cheaper than they would do in the UK. Say someone's selling a games console in the UK for £200. Well, you'd quite often find that same games console on an online marketplace in Australia for $200. They look like the same amount of money, psychologically,
that's
but then you convert the currency and you realize you're paying 400 Australian dollars for it in the UK.
But they don't, there's no VAT. I mean, isn't it VAT that really drives up the prices in Europe of like any like technology? Because I feel like when I look up like a graphics card price in the US, for example, and then the graphics card price in the UK, it's significantly higher. But if you deduct the VAT, it actually tends to work out the same. Still kind of lower in America, even without.
And only about £100 in Australia. You're saving so much money with the Australian dollar being worth less than a British pound. So that's my theory, and I can buy lots of my camera gear and my lights and my microphones, like I've got this microphone above me, and it costs me a third to a half less than I'd be paying in the UK. Right, number 5, sunscreen. In the UK, sunscreen is a holiday product. We will pretty much only buy it unless we're going to Mykonos or Spain, Mallorca, and generally if...
Well, I don't know about that now, mate. Our summers are getting rather warm and very sunny. I feel like it might become like a regular thing. I actually do remember a time that I wouldn't even look at sunscreen. Sunscreen? Which one is it? I'm having a slow day, by the way. But I wouldn't even look at it when I was in the UK. Now I would probably be wary of going to the beach without it. Only when we used to go to like really hot summer destinations, but it's not too far off here now.
The UV level is below 3, you don't really need to wear sunscreen unless you want to for anti-aging purposes. Whereas here, it is an absolute necessity. As I'm sure you're aware, and I blabber on about in these videos, Australia has some of the highest rates of skin cancer in the entire world. So when you're buying it here, it makes sense to buy it in bulk, so you don't have to keep making those short trips to the supermarket to buy little bottles like you would do in the UK. Now, this is a very well-known brand in Australia, very respected brand, and as you can see,
that's a weird looking bottle, I'm not going to lie.
It is 1 litre and it's so big that it comes with an actual pump. Never have I seen this in the UK. This cost me $30.99, okay? I go onto a well-known UK supermarket website. You only get 400ml and yet you're paying £11.
A well-known UK website? What is this? Like, normally you can tell the designs of a site because you go there frequently. I have no clue what this is. Wait, is he here? Is he from the UK, by the way? I'm shouting, is he? Do you know what this is?
50, but we're actually paying $30.99 for an entire litre in Australia, so it's so much cheaper. Number 6, outdoor fitness. Right.
I mean, Australia does feel like it has a very poor relationship with the sun. Like at one point, Australia angered the sun god, and the sun god made sure to burn it, but very slowly. And then seemingly gets very annoyed that humans managed to survive it. Like I think I don't think I could live in Australia purely because of how hot it is consistently. Like even in your winters, it gets to like 20 degrees, right? Rustic. It's 20. It's like 20 winter. Let alone, I mean, a 20 I wouldn't mind as a summer's day in the UK, but that's just winter.
This is a reach, I know. However, speaking from personal experience living here, it is 10 times easier to do any of those outdoor activities in Australia because most of the year the sunshine is gorgeous. And yes, I'm talking about other states in Australia too, but it's also designed for it more. The paths are wide and long and they're decked out with trees. There's bins, there's water fountains, which they call bubblers in Queensland. Pretty quirky. There's lots of benches if you need a rest. If you get a bit peckish on the way, you'll often find these electrical barbecues that are free. You used to have to pay for them, they're free now. So you're probably thinking, Sam, how does this make it cheaper than the UK?
Wait, they just have like barbecues just chilling around ready for you to use. That's cool. I was about to say, I feel like this guy's got like sullied by the idea of London because it's like super built up and everything. But I don't know. I mean, if you want to go for a run, there's plenty of places, even where I am, and my place is largely a land forgotten. But you could go. You could go on a run wherever you want. The paths are wide enough to do it, and there's over like forest areas and everything like that. You do that too in America. That's actually cool. The UK doesn't think about nice food, so that would never be implemented. And I also don't think you could trust the British public with a source of flame. Like it would somehow go wrong, and then we would ban it. I'm just going to say that. And also, would I trust drinking from a water fountain in the UK in a public park? No. No, unless there's somehow managed to safeguard it from what people do to it at night. But I do not trust that whatsoever.
Then does make any sense? Well, the experience is a much higher standard, and that, I think, makes it cheaper. Can you tell I'm struggling to make this video? Number 7, American things. And what I've noticed is a huge amount of American-made products being sold in Australia. So to give you some specifics, things like vitamin C serum, American. Whitening strips, we can't even get this brand in the UK, but we can get it here in Australia.
Right, I'm gonna keep it a stack. What was the point? What was the point in this shop? I'm none the wiser with or without this. This is the most gauge and blur attached to this. You could just tell me whitening strips.
We can't even get this brand in the UK, but we can get it here in Australia. I mean, we've got much tighter rules on, oral health products in the UK. A lot of the vitamins we buy here are imported from America. Anyway, let's keep going because
I could see that though. I mean, like, okay, this might be a really stupid question, but my world geography leaves much to be desired. But if you were going to fly from the UK to Australia and then also like West Coast, would it be West Coast? I don't know. But America to Australia, what is closer? Or are they about the same? I'm curious. I'm Googling it. UK to Australia. 16 to 22 hours. US to Australia. About 21 hours. 14 to 15 hours from the West Coast, and then 21 hours from the East Coast. So it's closer to the US. I believe you're closer. Direct flights from the USA to Australia. So you can have direct flights. We usually have to do a stop. No? You can get direct, but it's more common you get like a layover. But Los Angeles is 14 to 15 hours, and then from the East Coast is 21 hours. Ours is 16 to 22. So it's kind of similar on the East Coast, but you're definitely closer on the West Coast. But I could see why you'd have more products. I mean, it's not that far removed. You're probably going to have an amalgamation of all sorts of different products that you import on like ships, cargo ships. You know what I mean? Because you're like kind of in your own little world down there. So it makes sense to me. There would be a lot of American products.
This next one is going to make a lot of British people very angry.
Why does no one like Perth? Hey, anybody from Perth that is watching this? Rusty just said no one likes Perth. He's Australian. Get him. Don't actually get him, but roast him.
Petrol. Petrol in Australia is almost half the cost than it is in the UK.
I swear I heard otherwise.
It gets better. First time I filled up here, it came to about 50 Australian dollars, and then I had a look at what it converted.
What? Wait, they have 7-Elevens in Australia? Oh. They have... What? I love 7-Eleven. That was so good in Thailand. I miss it. I miss it. The toasties are incredible. Incredible. I wish we had something comparable. Like a place where I could just hand them something and they go, oh, yeah, we'll just stick it in one of them like grills. Oh, immense. You don't have Crest toothpaste, wine and strips? I don't believe so, no.
To back in the UK, £25, and I thought, what? I've never paid £25 to fill up an entire car tank before. Usually I'm paying 40 or 50. I was sitting at home feeling like I'd stolen, but I hadn't. That's just
that does seem
what
cheap.
The petrol has consistently been like throughout the
wait, what was that? Not all the words 7-Elevens are the same. I can show you. Oh no, well, Joel, I traveled around. I'm aware. In the Vietnam ones were not as impressive.
Yeah, I mean, apart from the start of the year. But in the UK, it is almost twice the cost. But wait, it gets better. You know the tyre pressure pumps that you get in the UK? You have to put 25p or 50p in. Now you can tap on them. In Australia, it is completely free because they thought, look, you're at our servo. We're not going to charge you for air, for literal oxygen.
You say servo?
We just push into a tyre. And I respect that. Thank you, Australia. Number 9, public...
It's 25p. I think of all things to count as a discount, 25 to 50p. I think that's okay. I think that's okay, personally.
Public transport. We're talking train. We're talking ferry. We're talking bus. Right, coming from London prices, where I thought £1.80 for a bus fare for, you know, the hour was pretty good. And then seeing that Brisbane do 50 cents on all public transport for the hour, 25p. Really? What? So I could literally go from Brisbane city centre to Gold Coast, which is a different city, and it will cost me 25p. Come on, need I say more?
Okay, that's actually incredible. That's really cheap. And I suppose it like really incentivizes for people to actually get around more. So by proxy, you're going to have a happier population, which tends to make more money. Kind of a cook.
This is nowhere near what I mentally budgeted for because Maddie and I, we did not have a car for our first few months living in Australia. They hadn't even introduced the 50 cents public transport fares in Brisbane, and we were still saving money on public transport. It was so refreshing. Anyway, number 10, coffees and meals out. Australia has this beautiful reputation, to Brits anyway,
right?
Brunch and coffee is about half the cost of what it would be in the UK. You might go out for breakfast, and for 2 people for a full plate and a cup of coffee, it might cost £30, 60 Australian dollars. In Australia, it often costs 30 Australian dollars, £15. You save it twice as much. But the cafe culture in Australia is world class. If you go,
do you know what? That's the one thing I miss from like traveling around Asia and stuff like that. It's just being able to afford to go out to places that would just normally drain the bank. Like I know it's like probably if it's even cheaper there than Australia, but I just miss that. Like I feel like in the UK, I mean, I'm not exactly like the most well-off person in the world, so going out actually is a consideration of can I afford that? Like for little meals and shit like that. So I do think we get ripped off a lot. Like food is on the rise and quality is going down here. So it's also, you had the one, can I afford this? Right? But now prices are up, quality is down. It now goes, now you genuinely go, is it worth it? It costs so much and it's bad. Like, you could probably botch your own version of a meal at home now, and it would be comparable. Like, even fast food, it's a joke. The boneless banquet from KFC. It's not fantastic. It's KFC, but it was what I swear it used to be like £6 or £7. It's now £13. Yet it's like 3 bits of chicken, and then like a small bag of chips. Like, that is outrageous because I think it tastes worse, and it's like smaller. I don't know. They've like miniaturized the chickens. That's the next level cost cutting. It's wild. I feel, yeah, the US, I feel like is somewhat similar in some areas, right?
To Melbourne, where literally the best coffee exists, you will pay about half the price you would in the UK, but you get the world's best cup of coffee. Not only that, but chefing here is just
cool order.
brilliant. You get avo on toast, and you think this is quite plain, and here it's like flavor explosion. You pay $10 for it. What? Anyway,
Avocado has barely any flavor. I don't know if that upsets any of you. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's largely tasteless. Eh. Was it? Wait, what did you say, Rustic? Best coffee culture and quality? Oh, I don't know. I've not been there, but I consider Vietnam very high up in a big coffee culture that is cheap and very, 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 very good. Then be fine words. That how can you dispute that avocado has like no flavor? It's a good base. You can add flavor to it, but it's largely bland.
Eat out here casually, far more than I do in the UK, because I can actually afford it. So you do not sacrifice quality for cost here, and that's a huge takeaway. But you might be thinking, Sam, what's better than 10 things being cheaper than they are in the UK? Well, how about 8 things that are free compared to what they are in the UK? So if you want to keep the adventure going, click this video here. I know you're gonna love it. Thanks for watching to the end. See you in the next one.
No worries. Thank you very much. Every time I watch a video like this from anywhere else, I feel like we're so conned. No. I'm not saying avocado sucks, by the way. I'm not taking that stance. I like avocado. Avocado is nice. It's tasty. With something. It's like a cracker. If you butter it, add some cheese, nice. If you just eat the cracker, there's not much to it. Would I say I like crackers? Yeah, but it's a bland base. You know what I mean? It's a very nice thing. I just, on its own, avo and egg on toast. No, see, that's what I'm saying. That would be good because it's an additional. But avocado on its own is largely tasteless. It just kind of tastes a little grassy. Plants. Hate them. You find avocado delicious? Well, like on its own, or do you like season it? Feline. Well, you had an allergic reaction to avocado? I swear you've got more allergies than most. On its own? Really? What, you don't like adding in like salt, pepper, even like some paprika? Paprika and avocado is really nice. Chili flakes avocado is really nice. Yeah. Couldn't imagine eating on its own. But right. Anyways, sorry. We'll waffling. And if you would like to waffle, then the link to my Twitch is down in the description below. But I appreciate you. I hope you're enjoying the exploration of some Australian tendencies. What is this guy's name? I should find out, really, shouldn't I? Sam Ford. I do like these ones. It's nice to get like a British perspective of like them in Australia, boots on ground. And then we also have an Australian in here that can agree and disagree in real time. So if you'd like to be able to do that, please do stop by. We're lovely people. Everyone here is lovely, barring me. So you'll fit right in. But anyways, you take care. Appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one.